Sports broadcaster Paul Coyte is here, and he's brought a very special guest, the former England cricketer Monty Panesar. Very good to see you, Monty.
Good to see you, Monty. I've got to ask you firstly, as one of England's greatest spinners, how did you see Shane Warne firstly as a cricketer? Was he the greatest that we've ever seen?
Yeah, he was definitely the greatest, spinner, greatest performer, and he was one of them sort of guys who owned the stage, owned the 22 yards, as we say, and any situation, any given moment, he would want to win the game.
I don't want to get too technical early on, but I'm going to. Leg spin, I mean, this is not something that was very fashionable, was it, when Shane came through, and all of a sudden every kid wanted to do it, especially in Australia after that? Yeah,
absolutely. He made cricket cool again, made it much more, a thing that little kids wanted to do. Growing up, a lot of young Australian children, wanted to bowl leg spin, have the famous earring, and he kind of, got cricket back onto front, sort of the front pages, really, and
sure.
and that's how good he was.
See, the thing is, guys, and I think you both know this, is that with cricketers, when you play for England, you get the number on your hat to show, on your cap, to show which number you are in, right from number one, being the first ever England cricketer going through. I know you've obviously got your number, Monty, but you also have a number, don't you, when it's compared to Shane Warne, because you've got number 699, because out of his 708 wickets or so, you were 699. Yeah. So do you have a hat with that on to show that you were bowled out by Shane Warne?
No, I don't have anything as such.
OK, probably a good thing.
Yeah, that was at Perth. I remember when he obviously got me out and I was trying to play a sweep shot and he bowled me. But Shane Warne was a great, great competitor. And I remember my good friends Greg Matthews, when I was at Sydney, played great cricket there.
Another legend, yeah.
Yes, he kind of... I wasn't like the best of mates with Shane Warne. I didn't really know him that well. But, spinners, they say they're all made from the same cloth, help each other. Sure. And he was a very generous guy. And Greg Matthews shared a poem with me. He said, the man in the mirror. And he talked about owning that man. When you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror, you own that man. And that's who Shane Warne was, a character. He owned, himself. He owned the people around him. And that's why the whole of the world, is going to miss him, because that's one of the reasons. And I learnt a lot through Greg Matthews, who was a very close friend of Shane Warne. So I think, the cricketing world and everyone...
Well, that's what I was going to say, the whole of the world, because he did transcend sport. He became a celebrity in his own right. He was rubbing shoulders with you name it. And, of course, his relationship with Liz Hurley. Do you think today is going to be a sad day, or do you think that this is going to be a celebration of a man who was larger than life?
Well, it's going to be a mixed reaction. People are going to remember the good times, that he brought to cricket. His hat-trick famous at the MCG, and also the 700th, Test wicket, which was Andrew Strauss. And then, we're going to remember some of the sad times as well. He was an intelligent cricket brain, and that's what we're going to miss about him. And, that's something that I think... Hopefully, generations to come, that we were able to see another leg spinner, come through the Australian ranks.
But, Monty, where he bedazzles and confuses all at the same time, he's an athlete, a top athlete, but you talk about his brain and his ability and whatever. You don't talk about his physique. Here's a man who went up and he went down.
He was on a juice diet at the time, wasn't he?
He's a man after my own heart, it has to be said. But as athletes, as fellow athletes, did you not look at him and think, how does he do it?
It was just his skill. He was sheer skill, and, had really strong wrists. He had a great action. His mentor, Terry Jenner, was brilliant for him. But he was a very intelligent man in terms of getting batsmen out. It was all about, working out the angles and producing, tremendous spin. But he was very creative and imaginative how to get, wickets. It wasn't the traditional ways that sometimes, spinners do get wickets. And I think that's the sort of his persona, his personality, his aura, everything about it. I think people are going to miss that.
But, Monty, you were at the end of it, weren't you? I mean, we talk about his personality and what a great cricketer and what a great personality, but you got really the rough end of the stick, didn't you, for a little while? Well, that was a few years ago from Shane.
Yeah, look, I remember him saying, you've played one Test match 33 times, which was probably right.
Come on.
There came a point where I probably wasn't imaginative or creative as Shane Warne to get wickets, and I would just bowl the same way, over and over again.
But you got him out, though. The last time he was out in a test was your wicket, wasn't it?
Well, he was. I think he hit me for a few sixes and fours and got over 70 runs, I think it was, or 50 runs.
Well, forget that
in the last test match. and he managed to get a stumping. And as a spinner, it's like getting a batsman out twice, once in the air and once off the pitch.